Good morning, everyone. This is Dave Wirt, the meteorologist in charge here at the National Weather Service in Blacksburg, Virginia. It's about 10:30 on Friday morning, July 1st. This YouTube briefing is going to be summarizing the weather we're expecting over the Mid-Atlantic and Mid-Appalachian region through the upcoming holiday weekend to Tuesday of next week. Basically, looking at the weather map, we can see that there is a series of frontal systems that will be drifting south and then remaining nearly stationary over the mid-Atlantic states over the next several days through the upcoming weekend. Here is the forecast for later today, Friday evening, into Saturday morning to Sunday morning. And you can basically see that the front will gradually drift south and then poise itself just to the south of our area by Sunday. The proximity to this front, along with good, strong daytime heating, will allow the atmosphere to become unstable enough to maintain the threat of some mainly isolated strong to severe thunderstorms. The primary threat from these thunderstorms would be locally damaging gusty winds and hail, perhaps large hail, but no widespread severe weather is expected through the upcoming weekend. Looking at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook, we can see that portions of the area, mainly east of Interstate 81, is in a marginal risk for some severe weather today, for Friday. Again, mainly later this afternoon on into perhaps mid-evening tonight. And then going forward a little bit more to Saturday, we can see that that threat now is mainly along and south of Highway 460 in the vicinity of that frontal system that is going to gradually push southeast to closer to the Virginia-North Carolina state line. Going ahead to Sunday, pretty much the same story. The greatest threat for severe weather, although not extremely high, would again be primarily, in this case, perhaps south of Interstate 64 and Highway 460, with just a general threat of thunder farther north in the northern half of Virginia. So that's not going to be too big of a deal as far as any type of severe weather. What we are worrying about, and we're watching very carefully now, is what happens later. Specifically, later Sunday into July 4th, Monday, and into July 5th, Tuesday. By the time we get into later Sunday, we see that the frontal system, as expected, is just to the south of us. But now we have a low-pressure system. This one's going to be pretty potent, that is going to be moving northeast and then east from out of the nation's midsection. This is setting up very similar to the June 23rd event, where it will then become a focus of activity with this front gradually pushing north, and then a tug of war, a battle begins between high pressure blocking to the northeast and warm, moist air trying to punch north up into our region. What that means is there'll be a series of thunderstorm complexes that will develop for Monday into Tuesday and basically follow this train track east into portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Mid-Appalachian region. The actual heaviest impact areas are not yet known. We're still talking about something that's many days in advance, but the threat does exist, and as a result, the Weather Prediction Center's outlook for a 2-day total amount of rain for the Monday and Tuesday time frame is showing generalized amounts in excess of an inch. That would be the lighter blue color here, but maximized to perhaps as high as 3 or even 4 inches in areas that were hit very heavily with record flash flooding last week, specifically on June 23rd. Obviously, this is not something that anyone wants to see happen again, but that is something that we are calling your attention to, because as we progress through the holiday weekend, the exact positioning, placement, magnitude, intensity will be a little bit more resolvable and we'll be able to be a little bit more specific. But at least for strategic planning purposes, please be apprised that early next week we may be in another situation where we have a flash flooding threat, perhaps in the same areas that got hit very hard last week. So please stay tuned to the National Weather Service forecasts. We're going to be updating them very frequently, as you would expect. We also have a couple of attachment slides to this YouTube briefing that will be forwarded with an email so that you can look into some of the specifics and forward this to folks that you believe need to have this information. Again, stay attuned to the weather as we go through the weekend. Thank you for watching this briefing.